Hey guys, JV here, and today we're doing something a little bit different. I've been making a lot of Fallout related videos lately, and you guys have really been enjoying them. That's been awesome to see. And I've been looking through my older Fallout 4 videos, and I found a gem. I found a 2016 video, which came out after Fallout 4, talking about Fallout Online and what that game would look like. Now, obviously, it's 2020 now, and we've had Fallout 76 for a year and a few months. So I thought it'd be really fun to look back at that old video, see what I thought, and compare it to what we actually got. So here we are on my channel. Let's look up Fallout Online. And here it is, Fallout Online. Is it possible? What would it be like? Published August 23rd, 2016. Okay, so I was wrong. This was almost a full year, around there after Fallout 4. So let's go ahead and watch it. All right, here we go. The old intro. What's up guys, JB2017 here, and today I wanted to share my thoughts on an idea that a lot of people ask me about. Whether it's in my survival streams or in the comments of a regular video, I get these questions constantly. It's true, it was non-stop. Okay, so the full title is Fallout Online MMO Speculation. So not exactly 76, but let's continue. What do you think about Fallout Online? Is it possible, and what would it be like? Today we're going to explore that idea. But before we start, I do want to let you know that Bethesda will be streaming an hour of Nuka World on their Twitch channel today at 4 p.m. Eastern in the US. So I've left a link in the description to the stream if you want to check that out. Before we get into any wild, crazy speculation, it's important to ask, is it even possible for there to be a Fallout Online? Is it possible? Yeah, I think so. Sure, I think it's certainly possible for Fallout to have an MMO-like spinoff for a few reasons. A lot of people look at ZeniMax Online Studios and how they made the Elder Scrolls Online out of Bethesda's Elder Scrolls series. Yep. It's not too far-fetched to think that a developer could do the same thing with the Fallout universe. There's enough lore and history in the world of Fallout to fill an entire MMO in terms of content, so that's not really an issue either. While I do believe Fallout Online is possible, I don't think it's likely anytime soon for a few reasons. Okay, so I was very wrong there, but it's very clear that I thought we were going in an MMO direction. I think that was because of the Elder Scrolls Online coming out. When did Elder Scrolls Online come out? I think 2016, I want to say. So I think we're kind of hot off the heels of that. Maybe it was before then. First off, it's expensive. The Elder Scrolls Online cost $200 million to develop. I'm not sure how much it costs to maintain servers, but that must be a factor as well. That's a lot. ESO sales are currently a fraction of what Fallout 4 has brought in, and it wouldn't make sense for Bethesda, the publisher, to pour money into another online project unless they could guarantee its success. Ooh, we were wrong there too. It doesn't make sense to pour money in unless they would guarantee their success. Clearly, I underestimated just how much money Bethesda made from Fallout and Skyrim. I mean, it's astronomical. Second, it probably wouldn't be developed by Bethesda Game Studios. Running a persistent online world would require whichever studio that is developing the game to focus on it almost entirely. Since we know Bethesda is working on 3 big projects before the next Elder Scrolls, I just don't see BGS being the ones to develop a Fallout Online game anytime soon. 3 big projects before the next Elder Scrolls. So that was probably based on some kind of news report or interview with Todd Howard. So what would those be, guys? Bethesda Game Studios is working on 3 big projects. Obviously, Starfield. Obviously, when I was making this, they were deep into the development of Fallout 76. And so, or not deep, but they were into it in some capacity. So Fallout 76 was one of them. And then another one. Not really sure what that is. So if it's not Todd Howard's team, then who would it be? Some would love to see Obsidian take a stab at another Fallout game, but would they develop a Fallout Online MMO? Their first release was KOTOR 2 12 years ago. Then came Neverwinter Nights, Alpha Protocol, Fallout New Vegas, South Park The Stick of Truth, and Pillars of Eternity. Obsidian have a rich history of developing RPGs, but they haven't made an MMO. Obsidian have expressed interest in developing another Fallout game, but of course we know Bethesda would have to contract them like they did with New Vegas. There's never a reality. I saw some of these comments on my latest video. There is not a reality in which Obsidian comes back and makes a Fallout game, in my opinion, especially after the Outer Worlds. That's just not happening. Besides Obsidian, who else could tackle a Fallout Online? But hey, I had a lot of, bad takes in this video. This could be another one.
You may be thinking ZeniMax Online Studios could, but they've got their hands full with ESO. There's no way they could handle both, and it doesn't look like they'll be done with ESO anytime soon, at least not in the next year. So in order for ZeniMax Online to do this, they would have to stop development on new stuff for ESO and then start working on Fallout Line and then eventually release it. I mean, that would be years and years away.
Yeah, so I think the prospect of ZeniMax handling 2 MMOs at the same time, yeah, not even realistic.
In my opinion, for Fallout Online to happen in the next 5 years, it would need to be either contracted work like they had with Obsidian and New Vegas, or another Bethesda Softworks developer.
Okay, so that was basically how it turned out, except, what, we're talking about Fallout, or the Bethesda studio that's in Austin working on that.
Bethesda Game Studios did just open a second 40-man studio in Montreal to work on console, PC, and mobile games, and as far as we know, they're there to assist with all BGS projects, and they're not dedicated to one in particular. Long story short, we don't know who would develop a Fallout Online, but there are many obstacles in the way, just like there are with developing any game. MMOs are super ambitious projects, and I'm sure Bethesda, the publisher, would want to take their time and get the project right. Let's deal in...
Oh, I'm sure Bethesda would want to take the time to get the project right. Oh no!
Hypotheticals for the rest of this video and say that all those financial and developer obstacles were solved and they weren't an issue anymore. Bethesda Softworks feels comfortable with the project and finds the perfect developer. What would Fallout Online look like? For starters, I think it would stay in first person with the option to play in third person if you wanted to.
Okay,
I doubt the developer would abandon Fallout 4's great shooting mechanics for the game. Some people have a lot of negative things to say about Fallout 4, but I've said it before and I'll say it again, the shooting is not one of them. It was an absolute improvement. It's very smooth, and when you compare it to what we had before, it's just undoubtedly it was a great design decision, and so I'm sure they would stick to that.
The shooting
Next, a lot of MMOs are class-based, but I imagine that Fallout Online would stick to the special system for character building.
True.
It's such a unique and special, special way of building.
Oh my god, I cannot believe I did that.
A character that I don't see it being replaced for a cookie cutter, mage, rogue, tank kind of class system. However, the single most exciting thing to me would be the ability to choose a different background and race instead of just being a former vault dweller or a courier, one static background.
Man, this is something that we were still talking about on my most recent Fallout video about Fallout 5. Choosing your race and background. This is something I've been harping on since Dragon Age Origins and, of course, Skyrim, Bethesda's own Skyrim. So, yeah, that didn't happen.
I would love to have a Raider option, Super Mutant option, Brotherhood Initiate, Institute Scientist, NCR Ranger, Legion Soldier, Enclave Member, Child of Adam, Vault Dweller, and on and on. Those choices would add so much replay value to the game, and it really fits in line with what a lot of MMOs are doing these days. You pick your character's background, and there's so many different backgrounds in the Fallout universe. In terms of graphics, I would expect the game to be a step or two below whatever the current standards are at the time of release. That's sort of what we got with ESO, which people will say in a lot of ways looks worse than Skyrim, and that's understandable since it's a massive, persistent online world, so Fallout Online probably wouldn't blow us away in that department, but
absolutely true. I think some of the god rays and the environmental stuff in Fallout 76 looks really pretty, but it does not stand up to Fallout 4 when you put them side to side, at least from my perspective. It's kind of washed out, a little muddy, there's less detail, and that's something you expect in a world that is bigger than Fallout 4's. And it's online, so.
I mean, with Fallout 3 and New Vegas, that really wasn't, a main concern for people. Those games got great reviews, but it wasn't because of their graphics. And so I don't think that would be a huge issue. Next, I would love for a Fallout MMO to let us visit almost every single place we've already visited in the franchise, plus more. It would be so cool to visit the west coast of Fallout and Fallout 2 in a 3D world, return to the capital wasteland of Fallout 3 with better graphics, the Mojave Desert of New Vegas, and the Commonwealth of Fallout 4 all in one game. The massive scale would provide a completely unique experience that a lot of us, including myself, would get completely lost in. Also, think of the vaults. Imagine if there were 100 vaults in that game, maybe even more. It's just insane to think about.
That still hypes me up. That would be insane. Obviously, we didn't get that. We went to a new location with 76, but I think, again, this kind of supports the MMO theory that I had. We did not get an MMO in Fallout 76. We got a Destiny-like live service sort of clone.
Overall, I don't think that Fallout Online would need to be that much different from the action RPG title that it is right now. It would need massive scale, more diverse character building, and of course, multiplayer functionality. We need to be able to meet our friends, form parties, perhaps form gangs if you're a raider, for example. Do some really cool things like that, and I think it would really fit in this universe.
Well, they did do that. Fallout with friends, you know, forming gangs, although they're very loose. There's no formal guild system or faction system, which is what I really wanted and speculated about, and I'm sure that's what I'm suggesting here as well.
Playing with your friends or meeting new people and playing with them would be one of the biggest and best reasons to play a Fallout Online. Long story short, once again, I would love to play a Fallout Online. I think there's so much potential there, and if they can find the funding and find the right developer, it could totally be a hit.
Yeah, so I think my impression there, looking back, no. I mean, that is still one of the biggest reasons to play Fallout 76. It doesn't excel in any other category other than allowing you to play a Fallout-esque game with your friends. That being said, you know, we're living in a world where Fallout 76 has, you know, been bungled time after time, hackers, issues, stability. It still performs poorly in the, you know, technological department. And so it's a letdown in a lot of different respects. And I think, yeah, still, I agree with myself. That's one of the biggest reasons to play a Fallout Online or an MMO is to play with your friends. But outside of that, there's really not any other incentive to do it. Okay, so that was basically all I had to say. Let's look at the comments here. Okay, Xavier, let's go by top comments. Xavier says, I just want Fallout that is single player. My friend could join and play with me every now and then. Co-op, not online MMO. Xavier, everyone agreed with you. Even in hindsight, most people agreed with you. Absolutely. People would love to have a co-op every now and then, drop in, drop out experience, not a co-op at all times, you know, as we have right now. Jimbula said, while the idea of running into other lone wanderers is compelling, online games really don't run that way based on my experience with Rust and DayZ. In multiplayer games, you have mass groups of friends who take over the server and control it, and that's boring. Newbie hunters who shoot on sight and often camp near spawn points, killing folks, boring. Hackers who come on and just ruin the server, boring. Oh my God, you guys are blowing my mind. That is really what's happening. I mean, friends don't come over and take over servers. You can play with them, but that's not really, it's more of a persistent online world experience where the world just exists and you come in and out of it. So it's a little bit different there, but camping spawn points, that was a huge issue right on release with 76 until they made some changes to the PvP system. So Max says, I don't want an MMO, but I would like co-op, like two people in Boston working together. Pretty much exactly what Xavier said. Brandon said, I honestly think Fallout Online would make base building so much more fun if they would incorporate that with raiding other people's bases. I think that would be a cool mechanic. That does exist with Fallout 76, but not in a way that dominates the way people play the game, I would say. Now, I've not played 76 a ton lately. I've jumped in and out for maybe at most an hour at a time, so I really can't say whether this happens or not, but it's not a big enough occurrence that it's a draw towards the game. Oh my gosh, look at Tino here. I don't think it'll come out anytime soon. Oh, how I wish that was the case. So true. So true. There we have it. Fallout Online and my MMO version of what it could be like was not exactly accurate, but it came a lot sooner than I expected. I think 76 surprised us in good ways and bad ways. It came a lot sooner, but it turned out to be not so great, at least in my opinion and the opinion of many other people in the community. So yeah, this was fun. I've never made this react, to one of your old videos kind of video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Maybe we can do this in the future if the reception is good on this one. So thank you guys so much for watching, for joining me this afternoon. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you guys on the next video.